Gosh. Hi, Merch Money and Merch Minds. If this is on the Merch Minds podcast later, we've
Oh,
got
that was a
Yang
great
here.
intro. Hey, how are you? Helen and I were talking before we went live, and we're just laughing and having a good time. I was telling her how camera shy I am. I get really nervous when I do these. I'm a very shy person. I don't know if you ever noticed that.
And guys, I can't tell if he's joking or not. He might be serious. He might not. I
Oh,
don't
come on.
know.
Of course I'm joking.
He comes to so many meetups that it's like I'm like, how could you be shy? You're
I know.
always
In
there.
fact, yeah, that's right. We were hanging out a couple of weeks ago in Columbus. We had a blast. I spent most of my time in the bathroom. I got really sick, unfortunately. So uh, a majority of my time was spent there. But I don't want to get into details. It's just, it's
Please
just
don't. We do not want to hear
yeah,
those details.
yeah. But yeah, I mean, I swear, I see you and Christina, and I hang out with you ladies more than I hang out with my parents.
I
What does
know.
that say? What does that say about me? I'm such a bad son. I'm just
Well,
kidding.
we appreciate it. Um, oh, Jacob Tapping is saying all those hours behind the camera. You gotta
Oh,
take a bathroom break.
of course.
Um,
Um,
anyway, so this was a spur of the moment decision to go live today because I was working on our podcast and I was like, hey, Young has a podcast. Maybe I'll ask him questions. So he was very gracious to answer, like say he could answer them, but we decided to make it a live so that everyone could
yeah,
learn with us.
yeah, yeah. So first of all, thank you for reaching out to me this morning, and yeah, and I figured, you know what? Yeah, this will be a good topic to talk about. It's a little different and outside of merch and print on demand, but uh, from what I'm noticing, a lot of people are wanting to put out content and a podcast and all that. So this is something we can definitely talk about today. I always like to disclose. I always say this. I am by no means an expert. This is just whatever method that I talk about today is just something that I personally do, something that I'm comfortable with. Helen, I'm sure maybe your method is a little different, but that's why we're both here. We're going to talk about how we put on our podcast hat and put out episodes for people.
Absolutely. So just as a background, I have a podcast, but I started it like about a year ago or so. I think Flav is in the chat. Flav told me about Anchor. So all you have to do is just download the audio from the YouTube channel and then upload it to Anchor. So it's super simple. And so that's what I've been doing for the last year, and that's it. But then I was trying to listen to other podcasts and kind of see what else there is to it, because I feel like I must be doing it wrong if it's so easy. So it may or may not be more involved than that. But guys, if you want to start a podcast, that's a very easy way. Just go to Anchor and literally just upload audio, and that's it.
Oh, wow.
But I also have a website. Christina and I both do Merch Money, and I want to do more with that this year. Last year we just kind of had one and didn't really do a lot with it. So I wanted to have the podcast on there, possibly the YouTube videos. We'll see, but just wanted to get some feedback from Yang.
Yeah. Well, so the way I do it, well, first and foremost, like if you go back, it's been just a little over 3 years now. If you go back and listen to the very first five, maybe even 10 episodes of the Merch Minds podcast, it was horrible. Like the editing was off and the audio was probably bad. And I think Glenn even mentioned that we have one lost episode somewhere. So we have an episode that's missing. We just can't find it for whatever reason. And so it was just a huge nightmare. We had no clue what we were doing. But then over the years, you kind of learn. And so to answer your question, I personally use Libsyn. It is not free. I don't know how much Anchor is, but Libsyn is a paid. It is a paid service. I pay. Oh my gosh. I think I pay. I don't even know how much I pay. See that? Isn't it sad when you have so many bills and they just
Just
automatically deduct it from your checking account?
goes in there somewhere.
It's crazy. But I think it's about 40 or $50 a month.
Okay.
And I write that off every year during tax season because it is. I do consider this my business, a part of my business, and but yeah, it works. It's it's pretty straightforward. I'm able to upload my audio file, and then from there I can enter. I can put in my title, any keywords, description, show notes if you guys have any, and then it'll upload. And then you can also, there's an option where if you have a YouTube channel, it'll automatically upload that to your YouTube channel as well. Not the video, just the audio, I believe. Again,
Oh, okay. Because I
yeah.
remember following Merch Minds as the YouTube channel also.
Well,
So that
that's
must have
because
been.
Glenn was manually doing it by himself on his
Oh,
channel. Yeah. The
no,
way
no, I saw it on Glenn's channel, but didn't you have a separate Merch Minds YouTube channel?
yeah, so we had the separate Merch
Okay.
Minds channel, but if you go on there, there's no video. It's just audio.
Right, right.
So,
Cool. Well,
yeah.
Anchor is free, so that's the one I
Okay.
use, and it's similar. You can just upload the audio from YouTube. I've really liked it. I mean, the podcast has grown faster than the YouTube channel is growing, so I really like how it's going. But I like how you have it. It looks almost like a website. Like you have each of the episodes. So I like the format of it. I guess Anchor has a site like that too, but do you ever embed it into another website or you just leave it like that?
Yeah, so I think what you're talking about is that's something that Libsyn offers
Okay.
on their end. That's just, but yeah, you can definitely embed the audio file onto your own personal website if you have.
Okay.
And there's, I don't know what you guys use for your website. Is it
Shopify.
WordPress? Is it
It's
Shopify?
Shopify.
Okay. I'm not too familiar with Shopify, but my guess would be that there's plugins and third-party apps that will make that really simple.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I would say this. I think anyone that wants to get into doing a podcast lately, from my understanding, it's gotten much easier. There's third-party applications that you guys can use, and it's just there's just so many ways you can go about doing it. There's so many options. I don't think there's really a wrong or a right way to do it.
Awesome.
Again, I've heard of Anchor. I've just never used it, but it sounds like, I mean, if you guys are on a budget, that's probably the way to go. Do you guys have any limitations because it is free? Like, do they tell you like you can only publish X amount of episodes per month or anything like that?
I'm not sure. We haven't run into any limits yet. We've just been having the Monday shows, so we've only been doing one show a week, and all of those have been able to be uploaded. So I know you can do at least 4 or 5 a month. Now that we have the Thursday show also, we'll see if there's any limits. So far, I haven't run into any limits. They also will connect you with different sponsors. So I've Flav is answering my question. He says, embedded player, Anchor has it, Helen. Embed each episode to your site. Cool. Awesome, Flav. Thank you. He's answering all the questions. Thank you for being here, Flav. He's saying no limits. So there's no limits to Anchor.
Maybe you should be interviewing him. I'm the wrong guy. Flav, why don't you come on the show and kick me off? I don't have all the answers, apparently.
I've talked to Flav too. So Flav, no.
Making me look bad, damn you. Get out of here.
I've also talked to Amanda Belkasar. So all of you know, like, hurt feelings. I talk to everyone.
I know. I obviously, if you guys know me, I joke a lot.
Everybody knows a different piece of the puzzle. So I like to talk to everybody to just see like
absolutely,
what each person's doing.
Yeah, again, I always like to talk to people and learn from them. Regardless of what their business ventures are. I mean, again, I don't think there's a right or a wrong way to go about doing anything. But as far as a podcast, yeah, I didn't realize. So there's no limitations with Anchor. It's 100% free. I'm assuming they probably make their money with sponsors and ads.
Yeah, so I was just gonna say, they offer sponsorships, and Flav, this might be a question you could answer right here in the chat. But I've been matched up with other sponsors, but I've noticed they just keep playing my Anchor one over and over again. So I apologize to everyone who listens to our podcast. It's probably the same exact ad every single week.
I have to subscribe to you because I normally catch you guys on Facebook or YouTube. I definitely have to subscribe to you on the podcast now. I didn't realize you guys were on podcast, but
And
yeah,
Anchor
I
Anchor
know with
goes
Libsyn. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say Anchor goes to 8 different it might even be more than 8, but at least with us it's 8 different platforms. So is that what yours does too, Libsyn? Does it go to like Apple Podcasts and Google Podcasts and Castbox?
I know it does. It does go to various platforms. I can't tell you what, because I know originally Glenn had set that up. But it does broadcast to various other platforms. But Libsyn again, it is a paid plan. I can't remember if they have a free plan, but
Mhm.
whether it was free or not. So I do know that they have different plans, and the lower the plan, the more restricted you are. I remember when we first started the podcast. I don't remember if it was free or if we were paying just a few bucks for like one episode, maybe 2 episodes per month, and we were like, "Well, this sucks."
Oh, okay.
So we ended up getting the higher plan, and we're able
Yeah.
to put out as much as we want. So, um,
Well,
but
there you
yeah, so
go.
I mean, I can't. I mean, like I said, I heard of Anchor. I just never looked into it, but it sounds like maybe that's something I need to consider at some point.
There we
I
go.
mean,
We you never know who you're going to learn from. I'm
absolutely,
supposed to
because
be
I
learning
mean,
from you and you're like, "Oh, let me learn from you too." I
ah,
love
no, we
I
can all
love
learn
this
from one
community
another.
because we all help each other and we all
Yeah,
like just, say whatever you know.
absolutely. Yeah, no, so maybe that's something I need to look into. I mean, there's no better price than free 99. I mean, everybody
Minus
loves
the
free,
99.
huh?
Minus the 99.
Minus the
Free.
99. Yeah, absolutely. So I'll look into it, but I've had no complaints with Libsyn. I like it. But yeah, I'll definitely look into Anchor. Now, as far as how about equipment? What
I
do
was
you
just
use?
That is exactly what I was going to say next. Like, how do you record the audio? All I do is just record a YouTube video, which we had already been doing. So we had the YouTube channel for about a year, and then Flap told me about Anchor. So then I started uploading the audio from YouTube to Anchor. So we started that in March 2019. We started the YouTube channel April 2018. So it's almost 2 years. I can't believe it for the YouTube channel. Crazy. Um, and about a year for the podcast. So for the YouTube channel, I just have a simple webcam. I'm trying to think. I think it's Logitech, and then a simple microphone. It's a Yeti Blue.
Mm,
That's it.
okay, okay,
What about you?
okay. So if you guys ever watch the Facebook lives and all that, I always have this headset on, and
Okay.
it's just a basic. I think what is this? A Logitech? I don't know what the brand is, but it's a
Yeah.
simple Logitech headset. Simple mic. I have an iMac, and I use the camera that's already built in. Nothing
Mhm.
special. I'm not a YouTube guy. I think
Mhm.
I think you and Christina will make better YouTube people than me, because I think you two ladies are very beautiful, whereas I'm very hideous to look at, right?
Oh my
Um,
God, Young.
so
First
so
of
so
all,
so
you
I'm not a
did
YouTube
YouTube.
guy. I'm not a
You,
YouTube guy. I'm more of a podcast guy. I love to talk, as you guys can tell. Sometimes I can't even shut up. So definitely the podcast is my platform. But I'm like you. I do have uh, I'm going into my bag here. I do have a portable uh, blue microphone. Um, where the heck is it? Anyway, I do have a portable blue microphone that I use when I'm on the road. I
okay.
travel with that everywhere that I go, whether it's a conference or just business in general. Um, and in fact, we did an episode using that microphone a couple of years ago at the very first merch conference in Seattle.
Nice.
I don't remember what episode it was, but it was me. We had a bunch of people. The Jersey guys were on there. We were all drunk, and it was just having a good time. And it's good because it's one of those microphones where you could just set it on in the middle of the table, and it's designed to pick up all the audio around the table.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I do use that when I'm traveling. But other than that, it's like I said, it's just a simple headset. I think I paid no more than $20 for this. Um, Again, the camera, that's optional. I don't even use it. If it was up to me, I wouldn't use it. Like I said, again, because I'm not really a YouTube guy. And that's it. That's it.
It's super easy. I feel like you are a YouTube person because I was saying in the post that I watched you since 2014. Do you
Yeah,
remember?
that was back in my. And here's the thing, I still do resell. See,
You
what
were
people.
part of the green room, and I
Mhm,
was like, you guys did the videos. I think it was every Wednesday, was it? I just
mhm.
remember like always making sure I watched it. Like it was such a good show.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Yeah, so um, yeah, you know what it is, Helen. Like for me, like I can't. Um, and I think I talked. I don't know if it was with you or maybe Amy Nicholas, but I can't do scripts, right?
Mm,
Because to me that's too artificial, right?
right.
Um, this is more easy for me. Like this is a natural conversation, right? I can't talk alone into the camera
Oh yeah, I
because
remember
again
you saying that.
it'll take me like 50 takes to get it right. It's the most hardest thing ever. But some people get it. I mean, some people have that personality. A good example would be Dale Roberts, right? You watch his
Hmm.
YouTube videos, and he will talk for 20 minutes, no ums or ahs, and it's just seamless, right? Because he has that characteristic. He's very comfortable in front of the camera. For me, it's just again, it'll take 50 takes for me to get it right. Again, this is more natural.
Yeah,
People ask me, why don't you put out a course on this and that? Again, then I have to read a script, and it's not natural.
right.
This is more easy. If you want to talk about something, let's do that.
Yeah. I feel the same way. I mean, I can talk in front of a camera. I just don't do it that often. That's actually something I do want to start doing more of. But the actual like trying to make a course or make a tutorial or any of that is just so hard for me. I'm like,
It's
oh,
really hard. It's
I
harder than
really
you guys
don't want to
think.
do this.
It's very hard.
But
Like I've tried doing it, and I was like, "Oh hell with it, hell with this, man. I'm not
yes,
doing it."
I am the same
Um,
way.
but yeah, it's just yeah, this is more natural. Just
Hmm.
having a conversation, and now, do you have a set of questions when you interview someone, or do you just kind of
No,
go with the flow?
not at all. Yeah. The very first couple episodes, I would write like not questions, but like almost like a, what's it called? Um, I cannot think of the word, like a outline. There we go. I would write an
Mm,
outline for the show,
mm-hmm,
so that I would kind of like have a thing to follow along. But I kind of had to because we had so many people on the show that it was like trying to make sure everybody had a chance to talk. But now it's so much easier. It's just me and Christina. Sometimes it's just me, and it's just completely a conversation. No prep beforehand.
mm-hmm.
Nothing. I try to know at least something about the guests that I'm interviewing so that so it is easier to have a conversation. So I do like a little research beforehand if I don't know the person that well, just to make sure I have things to talk about. But yeah, I much prefer to just see how the conversation goes and
Yeah,
kind of
I think
run
that's the
with it.
best way. I think that's the best way. I typically will have 3 questions in advance,
Hmm.
and then from there, I just kind of like to see where the conversation goes
Yeah.
because you never know where it's going to end up, right?
Yep. You
A
never know.
good example would be when I interviewed my good friend Greg Johnson. I had him on the show not too long ago, and I was going to talk to him about local merch. Obviously, Mike Wall's method of doing
Yep.
merch by Amazon, because I knew at the time he was dabbling in it. And then that conversation took a left turn because next thing I know, he's telling me he's fulfilling his shirts through FBA, and I'm like, what the hell? And
Yeah,
that's
I
and
remember
that's the
that
beauty,
episode.
yeah, and that's the beauty of just kind of freestyling because you never know where that conversation is going to go.
Hmm.
Again, to me, I'd rather be more natural. Again, I don't want to read off a piece of paper and be like, "Oh, well, okay, so Helen, when did you start merch?" It's just, again, it's not natural.
Yeah, it doesn't work because once the person answers, your next question has to kind of relate to what they just said, or else it makes no sense. You can't just be like, okay, next question. Like,
Yeah,
it's got to flow.
yeah. So,
Um, but yes,
yeah, I like to freestyle it.
thank you for interviewing Greg Johnson. Because when I listened to that, I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't even think of doing that. So we ended up interviewing him too, like at some point.
Hmm.
But
Yeah, good guy.
yeah. So, well, awesome. So what what do you decide with editing? Like I don't do any editing at all. So what do you feel makes a podcast like what do you edit to make it a good podcast?
So, so if you listen to the podcast, you know that, and this isn't a very good trait. I'm not saying this to brag, but I tend to do everything by myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I have a lot of people tell me, man, you need to freaking outsource some parts, some of your stuff. I know that. Um, so I just use either QuickTime
Okay.
or whatever comes with the Mac. What is that here? Those two. I use those. Someone just texted me. But yeah, I just use those two. Again, if you go back to the early days of the Merch Minds podcast, we try to make it a little fancy. We had like a little uh, uh, opening music, and we had this voiceover guy, and then
Oh, I
um,
remember that.
yeah, and now we're just like, well, I shouldn't say we. It's just me now. Now I'm just like, again, the part of the problem is I try to do everything by myself, and I'm just so lazy.
Yeah.
But Uh, I do want to make the podcast a little bit more professional in the
Mm-hmm.
sense that I think at some point, I need to revisit putting some music in the beginning, maybe a voiceover, and all that.
That's what
So,
I was thinking about for this year. That's kind of why I'm asking everyone, Flav and Amanda and you, and because I do kind of want to, make it a little more professional. Same with the YouTube channel. We still don't have a intro. We still don't, so many things we still don't do right. And now it's like, okay, we've been doing this for 2 years. We probably should get our act together. But I think part of it is just I just don't understand the point of it. Like I guess the point of it is if someone new is coming to your channel and they don't know about you, like maybe that's what
mhm.
the intro's for. I don't really know. So to me,
Yeah,
I don't
well,
put any
I
value
think
on
it's
it.
just the norm, right? It's just like most popular podcasts these days. They have the voiceover and the music, the intro, and you just want to be kind of professional about it. And that's something I need to revisit. Maybe pick some new music, maybe hire another voiceover person. That's something I definitely want to revisit. And I do want to revisit. um I do want to hire a VA to maybe edit uh my podcast, because again, that's something that I don't have a problem uh, delegating to a VA, because
Mm-hmm.
it's just such a tedious task, right? It's just something that I don't need to do in the near future. I mean, it's simple enough where I can just hand it over to a VA. So maybe that's something that I'll do. I also want to kind of get back into releasing my podcast on a regular schedule. The last
Yeah.
several weeks, I've been all over the place.
Right.
I'll miss a week or two, and then I'll come back with back-to-back episodes, and it's just I need to have a set schedule. I just been, I was telling you right before we went on air, I've been really stressed out the last couple of weeks. My day job had been very demanding. Uh, and this isn't a plug, but we recently launched PixelPod Studio, so we've been busy working behind the scenes. The last 2-3 weeks launching that, and I just been really stressed out. So my podcast schedule has been all over the place.
Yeah. Oh,
So,
I'm sorry you've been stressed out. It's no fun.
well, I mean,
But
it's a part of life, right?
yeah.
But yeah,
Yep.
so I do want to have a regular schedule again at some point, and that's something I need to figure out at some point. Um, Now, you and Christina, you guys have a show every Monday.
We've been very consistent with every single Monday at 8 p.m. we only skip if there's like a holiday. I think I only missed one episode, I think.
Hmm.
And it was like a family emergency. Like it was somebody was in the hospital. But that's it. Like all the other ones, it's just we've had it. And then this year we decided to try to do 2. So we'll see if we're able to maintain that. And I felt like I was consistent enough that now I think I can add it in, but we'll see. So
So
we're
2
gonna
Merch Money shows per week?
2 per week. We're gonna be doing Thursdays at noon. So I've been filling up all the shows. So we're pretty much booked for next month. Except for
Nice.
the first Thursday. We're starting, actually, you spoke about Dale. Dale was scheduled for the very first Friday, the first Thursday in February, but I'm going to a meetup that weekend.
I'm going
So
to that
I'm going
same
to be
meetup.
driving. Yeah, exactly. I'm going to see you again,
Hmm.
So I'm going to be driving down to North Carolina. So I was like, you know what? Let me just move him up. So he's going to be January 30th. We're going to have him on. So the Thursday ones are going to start January 30th.
Good stuff, man. I'm excited for you ladies.
Yeah.
But yeah, so scheduling. Now, what are you? Let's kind of address uh, the issue that everyone seems to hate for whatever reason, which is sponsorships and maybe affiliate marketing. Um, Here's my thing. I know, I get so irritated by this, man. It's like, when we're putting out content and we push products, and I'll even go as far as saying, yeah, I would categorize myself as a marketer. I've promoted some products and services in the past that I thought would help uh, your guys' business grow, and a lot of those products I still use to this day. I still use
Mhm.
Penji. I'm a paid subscriber to Penji. It's not like I get it for free.
Yeah.
Do I get an affiliate commission? Yes. I still use Merch Create. I still use Merch Informer. I still use a bunch of stuff that I've promoted in the past. And people, oh well, you're just promoting because yeah, yeah. I mean, why shouldn't I get paid? Well, you think I'm promoting something because it's fun? Of
The
course.
thing the
I'm
thing
sorry.
that
Go ahead.
helps the thing that helps me the most is that I remember like how I was from 2014 until 2018. So from 2014 to 2018, I was just quiet, just taking everything in. So I would watch you guys, I would watch other people, and I just wouldn't say anything. But I
Mm,
loved the show. I learned so much. Like I watched it every single Wednesday, never missed it. And I just didn't say anything. And so I always remember like the people that love it are not always saying anything. They're being quiet and they're just like taking it in, trying to learn, take action. The people who don't like things are much louder. So hopefully there's some people saying thank you and nice things to balance out the people that aren't. But if there's not, I look at how many people viewed the video. I look at how many people are active in our Facebook group. And I'm like, you know what? People do like this. They are getting something from it. They're just not saying anything, just like how I didn't say anything for years.
mhm. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I don't, I have nothing wrong. I don't see nothing wrong with affiliate marketing, any of that. I think a good advice, I think, to everyone who wants to get into whether it's YouTube or a podcast, you need to have thick skin, because at the end of the day, regardless of what your message is,
Yeah.
you're always going to have haters,
Yep.
right? It just comes with the territory. Some people say that I'm brash, and that I'm, that can I curse?
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of people say that I do a lot of shit talking, and
Mhm.
Young picks on the millennials a lot, and well, yeah, yeah, I do, man. Oh, he's always angry, and just yeah, man. That's just part of my character. But at the end of the day, it's my show. I can do whatever I want. Um, for the haters, if you guys don't like it, just don't tune in. But
Yeah.
yet they always tune in, and then they always bitch about you. They bitch about me and the way I do my show. Well, don't listen.
Well,
If it bothers you, don't listen.
I definitely apologize for not saying nice things all those years because you really helped me a lot and I really
No,
enjoyed
no,
all your
but
shows.
no,
But
it's not. As a listener or a viewer, it's not even about commenting or anything like that. Because some people. I mean, there are a lot of people like you
But
in
it
the
would
sense that
help. It would help because it makes it, when people don't comment, it makes it feel like everyone thinks you're a terrible person. And it's not true. Most people don't. But that's
some
how it
people are just
feels.
shy. Yeah.
And it reminds me, like, because the only way I can get through it is because I remember what it was like. I just assumed like they knew they were great. I didn't understand, like, oh, you should probably comment and say thank you. Like, I just was like, no, they're like these famous YouTube people. They don't need to hear from me. Like, I felt like I was nobody and they were like so amazing. I didn't realize, like, no, you guys are regular guys. I should have said thank you. I should have said, like, oh, that helped me. I should have said my stories of how much you guys helped me.
Mm.
But I didn't. And so when other people don't do it, I'm like, okay, well, I also used to be like that. I didn't say thank you. I didn't tell them how much they were helping me. I would just watch and be quiet. And so when people do that to
And there's
me,
nothing wrong with
I'm
that.
like,
It's the people, they leave the nasty messages about, oh, with this and that. I'm like, well, so why are you watching? Why are you listening? If it bugs you, why are you here? Right?
yeah,
Don't we raise our kids to avoid all the outside noise and to be themselves as long as they respect one another? And
yeah,
yet we have grown ass adults. I swear, these are all grown ass adults doing some petty high school 8-year-old stuff, on YouTube and the comments, and it's just like it's dumb, it's petty. I don't have
it,
time for that. I ignore all that. I'm more here for networking and interacting with people like Helen and Christina that's what I'm here for. If you guys want
I
to.
think it's just like the way we got to think about it is it's just a progression. Some people stay as haters and trolls. Some people don't. Some people eventually like raise to the next level where they're like, you know what? Maybe they are right. Like some people are just so skeptical. They think everything's a scam. They think everything's wrong. And they're just very like, they're just at a low vibration. They just hate everybody and everything and hate their life and everything. Some people get out of that. Some people don't. But and then there's a lot of people just in the middle. They're just kind of like, well, they can do it, but I can't. So good for them that they're successful, but that's never going to be me. Guys, that was me. I would watch these shows. I wouldn't say anything. And I was telling Young, I'm like, it never even occurred to me I would ever meet Young. Now he's going to all my meetups.
I go to all the meetups.
It never occurred to me that I would meet. I just went to saw Steve Rakin the other day. Eventually, I got to upload the video we did, but it never crossed my mind. To me, it was like they were on TV. I was at home. I would never meet them. And then I started meeting them and realizing like, wait, these are regular people. And then I
Yeah.
started at some point in time, I was like, wait, I could start a YouTube channel. Like that never occurred to me. And then finally I was like, why am I not doing this? And so I started Merge Money.
Yeah, and my again, my intention was to never be on YouTube. Obviously, I did it back in the days with the group of guys that I used to do the green room with. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but it's just I don't know if you ever noticed this, Helen, but going all the way back to 2014, I
Mm-hmm.
always stay humble. Like you would never. I swear to God, go back and watch every
Yeah.
green room episode or listen to every single one of my podcasts. You guys would never hear me say I'm an expert, that I'm a guru, because
Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah.
Right. Now do I have certain tactics and strategies that worked? Yeah. But you would never hear those words come out of my mouth ever.
Yeah. I think
I try to stay humble.
it's 100% true and I 100% see it, but I think when people are not there yet, when they're just like at the very beginning of their journey, they still think you're so like above them and so special and so different, and they don't think that they could ever be like you. So it's just something that we have to remember, like
I'm no one special. The only thing different between me and the viewers or listeners is I just have a platform where I can voice my opinion, and you guys
mhm,
all have that option as well. Again, I mean, Helen just told you 20 minutes ago you can use Anchor for free. I didn't know
mhm.
that. So you guys all have that option as well. But again, I'm no different from anyone, right? Again, you know, I'm just a regular guy who just who does a podcast.
Yeah.
I'm no one
Well,
special.
I know too, but it takes a while. So it's just like a progression. So I don't let it bother me if people say mean things. Every now and then something
Ignore
hurts
it.
my feelings, but it's only because it's someone that I actually like or that I've talked to before. And then if they say something mean, I'm like, oh my God, like I thought we were friends. But if
Yeah,
it's a random,
ignore it.
yeah, if it's a random person I don't know, it doesn't bother me.
Hmm.
Um,
No, because it's just um, I just lost my train of thought. I was going to say something, and it completely left. That is a sign of old age. Okay, right there. That is, I forget stuff. See, that's a problem. I talk so much, I forget things I'm going to say. Um, but yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Oh, I know what I was going to say. It just again, it just comes with the territory. Like I can have a YouTube channel or a podcast. I could literally save a baby's life, right?
mhm,
We're still gonna have haters, right?
yeah.
Someone's gonna dislike your video or leave a
Yep.
nasty comment. And, oh, who is this guy think saving this child's life?
Did
Right?
you watch that video? I'm pretty sure it was Chris Green that posted it. But someone talked about that exact thing you just said. They did all these searches for like famous people that are very good people. So, for instance, Mother Teresa. So they
Mm.
did Mother Teresa, and then I think it was scam or something at the end of it. And it pulled up all these hate things about even Mother Teresa. So they're like, you know what? There's nothing you can do. Like, no
It's
matter how good
horrible.
of a
It's
person you
horrible.
are, you're
Yeah,
gonna have haters. So
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Um, so you guys been on there what for a year and a half?
April 2018 is when we started the YouTube channel. March 2019, we started the podcast.
Hmm. So what have you learned? You think since doing all that?
Um, Lots of things. I mean, I learned to just talk to people more, interact with people more. I mean, literally, I used to just sit at home and not talk to anyone. So it's like, now I feel like I can call anyone, message anyone, um, reach out to anyone. And I have. I'm even commenting on like famous people's stuff and saying how much they've helped me. So somebody like Ed Milet, I write stuff on his YouTube channel. I say how much he helped me. And he will comment and be like, things like this keep me going. That's what he wrote
Mm.
on stuff I said. And I'm like,
Who's this?
man, Ed Milet, he's like, I don't know, like a Grant Cardone or something.
Oh,
Like
okay.
he was, uh, I don't know. I think he was insurance or I forget exactly what he was, but he has like a weekly show. He interviews all kinds of people. I really like him. But anyway, so even people like that, they like hearing positive feedback. It's like you feel like, oh, these people are so above me. And then I'm like, well, they're regular people. Like,
And you
so
bring up a good point. And you bring up, Helen. I mean, if again, if even if you disagree with some of the things that we say, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, right? It's just we can have a decent conversation, right, and debate about certain things. But when people just get nasty and just mean, that's what I don't like. I mean, like I say, we don't have to agree. We can certainly disagree, but let's talk about it. Let's figure it out. Let's put it on the table, and I'll give you my opinion, you give me your opinion, and then at the end of the day, we can walk away respecting one another. Some
mhm.
people are just, and half those people, man, they just hide behind fake screen names, and it's dumb. It's dumb. But one thing, going back to the question that I had asked you, one thing that I learned is, and this kind of goes back to monetizing the podcast. I would never do a sponsorship again. I'd rather do affiliate marketing
Mhm.
or email marketing, um, because it's just, I don't know. I just feel like, when you take on a sponsorship, um, you know, a lot of the times I feel like, and this is just my own personal opinion and theory. I don't know if it's right, but I feel like some people take on sponsorships even when they don't even use the product.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't do that again. The very first year of doing the Merch Minds podcast, and I don't want to mention who they were or anything, but we were doing the sponsorship, and it's just not that they were bad, but it's just it just wasn't the right people to work with, in my opinion. But yeah, so I'd rather do more affiliate stuff.
Yeah, I think sponsorship could be good, but you just have to make sure it's authentic. Because if it's not, people are going to
Sure.
through it.
Mhm.
So it can sound less authentic because you're reading a script or you're doing something. So it has the potential to sound a lot more fake than affiliate marketing. But for instance, on our podcast, the affiliate is Anchor. Of course, I like Anchor. That's where I have that's what I'm using. So
Yep.
it's not fake because that is what I'm using and I do like it and it is free. So it's okay if they sponsor it because obviously it's true. So if eventually we have a different sponsorship, which we actually already do have one for Spotify, but for some reason, I don't know if I have set it up wrong or what, but it just won't rotate. It won't rotate to Spotify. It just keeps doing Anchor. But if it ever does rotate to Spotify, that one would also be true because I do have it on Spotify and I do like Spotify. So I think just as long as you, as long as it's pretty obvious that you actually really do like it. Like a lot of people have Audible as their sponsorship. I love Audible. I listen to Audible all the time. So if I ever do Audible as a sponsorship, to me, like that's pretty obvious that it's true that I like Audible.
Mhm.
So I think it's only bad if it's like questionable. Like, does she really like that? Like, but I think most of them, it'd be pretty easy to tell, like, yes, she really does like that.
Mhm.
So.
Wow. Well, yeah. Well, so that's pretty much what I have. Are there any questions?
Yeah, guys, do you have any questions? Everybody's liking it. They're saying comments like listening. Let's see. And sorry, guys, we're using StreamYard, so sometimes people's names don't come through. Listening to the book Super Fans from Pat Flynn, and he discusses commenting back to people, etc. Good stuff. And let's see. I started my channel because of an over-app issue that many were having, so I made a video to show a solution. All is history from there. Awesome.
Well, it says Facebook user. Share your channel with us. We'd love to check it out.
Yes, for the channel. And I think some of the reason the Facebook user comes through is because we're streaming to so many places. It kind of sometimes is a little glitchy, but Jacob Tapping is showing through. Dwayne is showing through. And thank you, Dwayne. Dwayne is so good about always watching the videos and always being so positive and always thanking us for things. So Dwayne, you make our day on a regular basis.
I don't think I ever had a conversation with Dwayne, but thank you.
Yeah. So I think everybody's just saying thank you and liking this. So guys, if you do have podcast questions later, just comment below on this video or anywhere you see it. And we'll be happy to answer and tell us your tips. If you have a podcast and you use something different, let us know.
Absolutely, yeah. If you guys have any tips for us, let us know. Again, I didn't know about Anchor before the show, but that's something I'm definitely going to look into. And I think you all have. I think everyone has a story to tell. You guys all have a voice, and fortunately, with technology, as technology gets better, we all have opportunities and platforms to do stuff like this. So, absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much. Oh, one more question. Sorry, Dwayne saying, how long should a podcast be? 20 minutes, an hour? How long should it be?
What do you think, Helen?
I think it totally depends on you. It depends on your content. It depends on your audience. For me, I've chosen about an hour. We've had guests that's a little less. We've had guests that's a little more. Jacob's in the chat. His have been way over. We did one almost 3 hours with Jacob.
Oh my gosh, 3 hours.
Yeah, that's too long. But most of them, I did a 2-hour video with Jacob and a 3-hour video. The 2-hour video, people watched the whole thing. A lot of people watched the whole.
Oh, that's funny.
It was the marketing one, so it kind of had to take a while because there was so many different things we were talking about. But yeah, I would say podcasts can be a little longer than YouTube. So YouTube is like, I don't know, people tend to have a little bit shorter attention span. Podcasts, people are listening while they're doing something. So they kind of want it to be long because they are like going to be driving somewhere or they're going to be doing something. So I think that's why our hour-long interviews do better on the podcast than they do on the YouTube channel, because it's just better content for our podcast. It's
sure.
Basically, we've been doing a podcast this whole time and didn't know. So YouTube is better when it's like, oh, Amy's there. Hey, Amy Wees. I think YouTube is better when it's like a tutorial or it's like a short thing that you're teaching people how to do.
Sure.
Well, people love going on YouTube to learn how to do something.
Yeah. No, absolutely right. And this is something that I talked about on my podcast. Like we talk about design quite often on the podcast, but design is such a visual topic. It's like, how do you
Mhm.
explain design without visually showing someone, right? And that's one of the setbacks of having a podcast is when you're talking something visual, is really hard to describe
Mhm.
what you're talking about. But yeah, so there are some setbacks. I personally think a podcast should be no less than 30 minutes. Yeah, I've listened to a podcast um, where it's like 10, 15 minutes, and I'm like, what the hell was that? It was like, was it a commercial? What was that? Yeah, it's just to me, I want a podcast to be 30 minutes or longer. Like
Yeah.
you said, I listen to a lot of podcasts when I'm driving, and when something's like 5, 10 minutes, it's just like, what was the whole purpose of that?
Yeah, because then it's frustrating. You're driving and you're trying to change it or whatever you're trying to do. And it's like, yeah, so I think podcasts, an hour is good. YouTube videos is the opposite. It's pretty much like under 30 minutes is better.
Yeah,
Almost all of ours are over 30 minutes. So it's not ideal, but people, I mean, you find the right people, they still watch it. But
good stuff.
so, all right. Well, thank you so much. I know you've been so busy. And thank you for taking the time today. And guys, we'll have Yong back tomorrow and RJ. So we're gonna have
Oh, wait, hold on. You didn't say anything about RJ. You didn't say anything about RJ. I agreed to do the show tomorrow, but I wasn't told anything about RJ. I'm
Okay,
kidding.
that's between you and RJ. You guys can work it
I'm
out.
kidding.
Um, but they'll
No,
be
but
on tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I guess that's 2 p.m. Pacific Time.
yeah, 2 p.m. tomorrow. Yeah, thank you so much for having me, Helen. This was so much fun. I've learned a lot from you, and I hope this really inspires people to go out and again, if you guys have a story that you want to share, this is the perfect opportunity. It's super easy.
Yep. All
So
right. Well, thanks, guys. We'll see you tomorrow.
thank you. Bye.